Hi all, it's Barb. Welcome to my craft studio. I've got a haul to share with you today. I'll be right back. Okay, I went to Target, Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, Goodwill. We went to Walmart last week and I have some Amazon things. I don't know how much I can show. Some of them are still in boxes, but I can tell you about them. Walmart, I bought 3 of these half bins. I was thinking there was 2 in a set, but there's only 1 in there, which I should have realized. But that's on me. But I put 1 to use already, but I used that in the bedroom. And then we bought these pastel Crayola markers. I haven't gotten them out of the box yet, but those white shelves, I bought another set of 6 of those for my craft studio, and I bought some more of the picture ledge shelves. I have to go take care of something. I'll be right back. I'm back. Hobby Lobby. I picked up 2 of these buntings. They're 12.5 feet long. It's one piece, even though it's got like multiple things. I actually had already done my deck, but I'm going to switch and put these ones on my deck and put the other ones on the back porch. At Target, hubby picked up this card guard to put his football cards that I bought him a few weeks ago in. Let's see that one. I was very disappointed at Hobby Lobby because last week when we went on Friday. They had stickers marked down, but they did not have the paper marked down. My guess is they went in that afternoon and marked down the paper because it was the only clearance paper I seen was one 6x6 paper pad. I don't use that much 6x6. I have to really, really like it to buy 6x6. I did not. I left that one behind. I didn't think I would really use it, so I just left it for somebody else. But I did find a few more sticker packs. I found this one. I don't know how I missed this one last week. I figured I will use that one. Honestly, I could see using this one New Year's week in my planner. And then I decided to pick up some more of the little gnome ones because I'm thinking about doing a giveaway maybe towards the end of summer or early fall, kind of, hey, my studio is finally done, so when I see things on clearance I might pick them up. So I bought these seasonal gnome ones. I think the only one they didn't still have was the Christmas one, because there's fall, Valentine's, St. Patrick's Day, patriotic, and Easter. So I think the only one they didn't have left was Christmas. But I bought the other ones, the sets of them. I did buy some of the 4th of July stickers because I think these ones will go into my planner area for the 4th of July week. And I liked these bows too. Honestly, the red bows you could use at Christmas time, but I thought they were pretty, so I bought that set. And then I bought 2 sets of these, one for me, one for my giveaway, hopefully. Like I said, I'm hoping to do a giveaway at the end. I should have bought 2 of these ones, but I only picked up 1. My sister collects ladybugs, so sometimes when I make her a card I'll put ladybugs on it. So that was a thought process there. Now, I know in the basement storage somewhere there are a bunch of these self-sealing bags in different sizes, but I don't know when I'm going to come across that, and I found a need for them already, so I thought I'm just going to go ahead and buy more, and these can just be, added to my stash when I find them. I bought one of each size they had. This one's 4x6, which has 150 bags. It was $3.99. This one has 150 1.5 by 2-inch bags for $1.29. This one has 150 2 by 3-inch bags for $1.79. And this one has 150 3 by 4 bags for $2.79. So I just bought one of each size they had. I did buy myself some more of the watermelon drops. I like to keep those by my desk. I bought this little birdie at Target. I thought he was cute. He looks like a little hot dog. I thought I just looked cute. Usually I put a couple of these birds. I have a few different shelves in my bathroom. One of them has our Alexa on it, and like my cup that holds our toothbrushes, which I usually use a Pecatonica cup for that. And then the upper shelf, I put decorations on, so I usually put a couple little birds there. Sometimes I'll add another small item to the lower tray because there's room enough for it. But at Target, I bought chocolate-covered pretzel Oreos. I know I have a couple other ones over in the house. I think what I'm going to do is take a bag and put an assortment in to keep over here. I like to keep my Oreos refrigerated. My daughters do not do that, so I haven't ate many Oreos since I've been here, which is probably a good thing. But, you know, hey. Goodwill, I found some books. My daughter's been stopping at them. I've read several Fiona Davis. She writes a lot of historical fiction. And I think every one that I've read of hers has a dual time setting. And they usually take place in like historical buildings. Like this one is the New York Public Library. It takes place in 1913 and 1993. I'm not sure when it was written. Some of them are kind of in the past and then like present day, when was this book written? Let's say 2020, so. But I picked that one up, The Lions of Fifth Avenue. I like her books. Hubby picked out these three. Whether he'll actually read the actual physical books, I cannot tell you. I should look and see if they have them in an audio version on Libby, because he would listen to them. I know that. He likes to listen to books. I don't know how much he retains of them, but he does like to listen to them. I really like Lisa Scottolini, so I picked up Most Wanted. Hopefully I haven't already picked this one up. And I picked up Jody. I think my daughter said it's pronounced Piccolo. It doesn't look like Piccolo. It looks like Piccolo or Picolt. But I figured the T was probably silent. But I've read a few of hers, and I like the ones I've read. So I decided I would go ahead and pick. I like that they covered the pink sticker with the blue sticker. Today it was pink sticker day was half price. I'm like, but that's okay. It was only $1.49. So I picked that one up. And this one, another one by her called Leaving Time. I've been trying to pick up books when I see them that I know I might read. And this one did have a pink tag on it, so it was half price. It's the Jumbling Tower game. It's kind of like Jenga. Honestly, I bought it for the wood blocks. I figured I could use those in crafting, so that's why I picked it up. Dollar Tree, I picked up 2 each of the drying cloths, one with the like lemons and grapefruit, and then the watermelon. I picked up 2 of each. One of these is staying out here. I like to use these drying mats under my cat's water dish. She has the moving water dishes. And these ones are nice and small and thin. I don't think they're the best for like putting under your dishes you're going to dry, just because they're not that big. Does it say what size they are on here? They're 12 by 18, and the ones we buy I know are bigger than that. But that when I was unpacking hubby's things. Oh, I actually have 3 sets of those, but one set was my daughter's, and she did pay for them herself. I just need to bring them back over to the house. He had a Chicago Bears. What is it? I think it's the 1985 team because they won the Super Bowl in '86. The team picture from that year. He has an 8x10 of it, so I needed a frame to put that in. So that's why I bought that, so he could have that on display. And then I found, now there's part of this throughout the store, but I found watercolor paper. It feels fairly nice, so I decided to pick that up. I don't even watercolor yet, but I do want to kind of play around with that and see if I can get halfway decent at it. I'm not good at drawing, and painting, so I struggle with those things, so we'll see how it goes. But I figured at the very least I'd have fun. And he also at Dollar Tree found the Chicago Bear decal of the helmet, so he said he liked that. And then when we were at the flea market a couple weeks ago, I had seen a Hardy Boys lunchbox. It was way out of my price range. I mean, but it was in like new condition. I will say it was in really good condition. I knew it was going to be more than what I was willing to pay when I asked, but I did ask him how much, and he's like, "Well, I'd come down to, what did he say, 75? I think he had it marked to 85." And he said, "I'll come down to 75." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's a little rich for my blood." He said, "I like it, but no." And he said, "Well, it's I said, "Oh, I'm not arguing that it's priced too high, just that it's out of my price range." He goes, "Oh, okay." But my daughter on Poshmark found this one with shipping was like 30. I think it was 25 for the lunchbox, and then another $5 and something for the shipping. So, and it does have the thermos. Let me see if I can open it up. And it does have the thermos. The little handle part, there is a little bit of a crack in the plastic. Not a deal breaker for me. I'm just going to have it on display out here in my craft room somewhere. I was a huge Sean Cassidy fan. I think like in 7th and 8th grade. He was actually my first concert. I went to see him up in East Troy, Wisconsin. I remember when I heard about the concert, it was like Alpine Valley, and I asked my parents, "Where is Alpine Valley at?" Because they never said East Troy, Wisconsin when they were advertising. They just said Alpine Valley. I guess if you're a big concert going, you knew where it was. We live in Northern Illinois. And my dad says, "Oh, that's in Rockford." I'm like, "Oh, Sean's going to be playing there. Can I get tickets?" And they're like, "Oh, sure." Well, then after I bought the tickets, I'm like, it's in Wisconsin. But the neighbors across the street, their younger daughter, who was much younger than me, loved Sean Cassidy, so they bought tickets. And they said, "You guys," and me and a friend had bought tickets, and they said, "We'll bring you up there, and you can ride with us." So I got to go see Sean Cassidy. I seen he's kicking off a new little tour thing in Nashville. I think in Nashville he's part of the Grand Ole Opry, so it's not just him. But my daughter, my sister lives in a suburb in Tennessee that's not that far from Nashville. I'm like, "Oh, time to go visit my sister." But I won't do that. I'm sure he probably sold out. Trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, I did get more IKEA stuff, not for this room. This room has all the furniture in it that could fit in it. I bought 3 of the wide and tall Billy bookcases. I bought the little corner things, and I bought 2 of the halves. One of the halves is going in the corner, and then the other half. I'm like, I can fit more on that wall, but I don't think I can go 3 full ones. My daughter shares that wall, and she can do 3 full ones, but because I was doing the corner one, I couldn't go 3 full ones because it just would take up too much space. So I said, I can add a half. So I went with another half. I'm hoping one of the half ones could hold all of my hubby has a lot of bear hats. I'm probably going to need more shelves, but I'm hoping I can put all of them. I may have to double up on the shelf a little bit, but at least they'll all be in one place for him so that he can see his hats and he can choose. He can change them out more often so that he can wear more of them. And then I'm hoping that 2 full ones will probably be my Nora books. I was hoping I could fit the in-deaths in a half, but I think looking at it that it's going to take a full. I'll just save the half one for my to-be-read pile, my to-be-read shelf. Now, I probably can't put all of my to-be-read books on there, but I can, like, store extra in the basement, and as I get space, bring more upstairs. I do want to get them all out and document what I have so that I don't duplicate buying things. I'll have to have my daughter. I know it's probably really easy, but I've never done one like a Google. You can do like a worksheet on Google where you can kind of. She does it with her movies. She has a Google spreadsheet or whatever it is that she logs her movies and her CDs in, so that when she's at Goodwill, she can see, do I have this one? I want to do that with my books. And I know I'm missing a couple of the in-depth books in hardcover. Well, I'm missing a couple of them completely. I like to get Nora and Judy Robb, they're the same person, in hardcover. And I might be missing a few Noras too. I'm not 100% on that. Once I can get those books out and get them on display, I can get a better idea of what ones if I'm missing any and what ones they are. I know there's a couple of in-depth books that I'm missing. When my health problems first started, my eyesight was worse because of the dry eye, and at first we didn't realize that that's what was causing it, and I was also having a lot of times focusing. If you know anybody with fibromyalgia, you may be, or you have fibromyalgia, you might be aware of what they call fog. Autoimmune disease gets something like that, where your brain gets kind of muddled. Before I was on medication, it was really, really bad. Now I might have a little here or there, but it's not. And usually it's when I'm really, really tired, so it happens more like at the end of a day than it does any other time. It used to be like an all-day occurrence for me. I'm like, I can't focus enough to read. And it was before, I don't know if our library had Libby then. If they did, I did not know about it. Or I would have been borrowing audiobooks during that time so that I could have listened, even though I'm not sure. I think my retention on it might have been bad during that time too, but I could have at least listened to them. But I'm hoping today to maybe take some time and put up some of hubby's picture. He has one more picture ledger I want to put up. I had bought 32-inch ones for him because it's what fit the one space that he has some of his cup plaques on. But I decided underneath his poster of Wrigley Field that's 36 inches wide, I'd rather have a 36-inch shelf. So I think I'm going to take the other 32 one and put it underneath where my GOC board will be. I can use that for other things when I'm not doing the GOC, but I really want to get it set up for the GOC. I got to find the rest of my stuff to do that. I had to replace the board, and I know the board I bought was not as big as the other one. At first I was thinking, I think maybe that's the size, but once I got it, I'm like, oh no, the one I have was bigger. But I can get by with the smaller one. I'm okay with it. I would like to find my letter board that puts my Big Benefit on it. I definitely need the separate Big Benefit listed out because that board ain't big enough to put it on there. And then I want to put some of those picture ledgers around that. And I want to use the ones on that wall to display some of my projects at different times, either seasonal projects if we're during a holiday, or just generic projects if I don't have any seasonal ones, or maybe a mix of them, I'm not sure. And I also want to put a couple above the door, and I'm thinking maybe one above each window, but I might go two, it just depends. I bought more than I needed for in here, I think. So any I don't use here, I will use in our bedroom. But I also, I want to put, I think this will fit on one of those shelves. So I want to put like this here. I want to look to see if I can find a Sean Cassidy doll for not a ridiculous price. I told my sister, I said, I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I got rid of all of that memorabilia from, I said, but you get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't need this stuff. And now looking back, I'm wishing, I don't wish I'd saved it all, but I wish I'd saved a couple of items. Like me and my friend, when we went to the concert, we used, I think they were called Artex paints, to make us pants. We had his name going down, and it said, Sean Paul Cassidy, and then I think down one leg it said, that's rock and roll. And I can't remember what the other side said. It might have had to do a run on it, but we had different Sean songs and his name and all that on those pants, and we each had the t-shirt, and I think we had the satin jackets. If you were that age, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you're way younger than me, you have no clue what I'm talking about, but that's okay. I kind of wish I'd saved things like that. They wouldn't have taken up that much space, but they just would have been, kind of fun. I wish I just had a picture of me in them at that age, because that would have been kind of a cool thing to kind of have framed. And at one time, I know I had a picture of the pants, and I thought I still had that, but I have not been able to find it. I thought it was in my little like high school scrapbook thing, but it was, I could not find it in there when I looked the one time. When I come across those, I'll have to look through it again and see if it happens to be in there. But if I could find that, I would try to find a way to maybe frame it up in there and put it next to the lunchbox, just because, hey, it's cool. But anyways, that's all I've got to share today. I'm hoping tomorrow to film another little tour of the room, though I will tell you right now, it looks worse than it did last week, because I brought a bunch of stuff out from the room I was in because we wanted to get those bookcases ordered, because my daughters also ordered some to put their movies on it back in the room. When I ordered, they were doing kind of like IKEA cash. So I'm going to have IKEA cash coming to me that I can spend over the summer. And I think that's probably going to go to some extra shelves for the bookcase, because I have a feeling all of us are going to need extra shelves. So that's probably what I will spend that on. But I've made progress. I'm actually feeling, if you've watched me regularly, you may know I've been struggling with my husband having Alzheimer's, and that I've just been struggling with all of the stress and that. And it was one reason why I wanted the crafting back, because I'm like, that will help me. While I'm not to the point where I can craft yet, just getting this stuff set up has helped me mentally. It really has. So, though I'm really itching to actually sit down and make a project. My sister came up to visit. She kind of surprised me. She's like, what are you going to do with all this stuff? I'm like, this isn't even all the stuff. The basement, I haven't even begun to take the stuff out of the basement. I did show her the cubes. I said, the other side, there's not really anything in those cubes yet. Some of it goes there. She goes, oh, so you have more storage available. I said, and even these ones aren't set up correctly. And I said, plus there's going to be more shelves back here that things are going to go on. I said, I'm putting the things that I don't use as often up high on that slat wall, because they're going to require getting on a ladder to get them down. But it was I'm really glad that I went with the slat wall. I wasn't sure I wanted slat wall in another room after having it and then not having it. I'm like, do I want that in another room? And then I just kind of thought, it would be great for just that, putting storage up higher. Though it kind of ended up the opposite of what I was planning, I think. I think at one time I was planning the scrap rack on this side and the desk on that side. But when the heater went in on that wall, that changed my layout. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to flip it and do it the other way. So, and it worked. We're getting there. Actually, I think it worked out. A couple of the changes that I had to make or decided to make, because having to make the one kind of led to, I think this would work better if I flipped it. And I really do think it has worked out for the best so far. But she's like, you could put some more storage shelves over here. I said, no, because that cart is going to have a machine on it and it needs a home. I said, there probably is going to be a table that I put over there at times on wheels. And I said, and this one that's on wheels, I can take it down if I really need to and just store the legs and the tabletop off to the side. She goes, oh, well, that's good. So you can kind of open it up a little bit if you needed to. I said, I don't really see doing that a lot because that's probably going to be my work table. But I said, but I have the option of doing that. And we were kind of talking about family gatherings. She used to be the one who hosted all the family gatherings. And my brother agreed to do it. And he has not. He's had one since she moved. And she happened to be up visiting. So he threw it together real quick. Because she had said she's going to try to come in September. And I said, well, we should have another family gathering then. She goes, yeah, I'm a little mad at him because I said, now that we're here with the garage, once they empty all those materials out of there, which hopefully is soon, I said, we could host one during the summer months because we could just set the tables up in the garage and eat. We could all eat over there. She says, I told him even if he had one a year, I said, now we would need him to bring the table and chairs over here from where he lives, because I think he has a truck, so he'd be able to bring it all over in one, haul. Me, I'd have to take so many trips, it wouldn't be funny. But she says, okay. She says, I'll kind of let him know that, She goes, I'd be happy if you guys at least had one gathering between you a year. But she says, yeah, it would be nice if we'd get back. We used to always do one around Memorial Day and one usually and this brother that agreed to take over it was the one who wanted it on Christmas Eve, and he did it one year and he hardly had anybody show up. I told him, I said, Christmas Eve isn't a good time to do it. He goes, that's when we always had it as kids. I said, yes, but now all of us that were kids then are grown up, have families of our own, and we have more than one family to go to celebrations with, and usually you have for a while we had my immediate family on my side and then his family on his side. Well, if you add an extended family on another side, you can't put them all on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It just doesn't work. His family used to do an extended one too, and they just kind of fell out of it. The same reason, all the cousins grew up and had families of their own. Some of them are. My husband's family is more spread out too. They're not as concentrated as we are. Though I have one sister who lives in Tennessee and one who lives in Kentucky, and we lost one of our brothers. February of 2024. Yeah, it was just before we moved, it was just before we moved. The funeral was actually the day we closed on the house, the visitation and all that. They kind of just had a visitation because I said, we can come, but I can't get there at the early type of the family because I said my ride is Jessica and they're closing on their house. I said, they can't very well change that, So, that's okay. She goes, I'll explain it to the rest of the family that's why you couldn't come early and be here for it, was because, she goes, it's not like you can suddenly reschedule that at last minute like that. But anyways, that's what I've got to share today. I hope you're enjoying going on with the tour. If you're doing the Get Organized Challenge with me, tomorrow is June 1st. We start on stamps. I need to get my blog post wrote. I'm going to try to do a video this month. We'll see. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.